This episode probably won't be very long because, according to my notes, there's not going to be much for us to go through. Season 1, Episode 2. A lot of the filming that happened for this episode took place at the Top Gear test track, which we previously marked already here. Which, you know, if you didn't watch Episode 1, this is all we have so far. We've just got the Top Gear test track, and then we have, it was just a route that Clarkson took while he was testing a, what was it, like a Citroen minivan, basically. Now, in Season 1, Episode 2, let's see what happens. All right, the Stig power tests a Subaru Impreza and a Honda Civic Type R. He does both of those at the Top Gear test track. After that, Clarkson road tests a Ford Focus RS in a city in Wales. So we're in Wales for this episode, and Wales is basically due west of Birmingham in England. So the city where Clarkson road tests this Focus RS is called Ystradfellte.
Letterbox after that performance. 1 minute 33.8. That's nearly 4 seconds faster than the Honda. 4 seconds. That's a week if you're a dog. So plainly, I had to go and drive this car in the real world. But where? Obviously, it had to be somewhere with miles and miles of empty roads, and that means finding somewhere on there where no one wants to live. Wales. Sheep.
All right, so we are in Wales, and I want to see if I can fast forward a little bit here, because at a certain point in here, he does get to a little city that we can kind of pinpoint as far as where we're going to just credit all this filming to. Clearly, a lot of this is being filmed. Whoops. A lot of this is being filmed out on open roads. You know, throughout Wales, like throughout the countryside of Wales. I assume that's what it looks like. But again, he does get to a city here in a little bit. So let's kind of go back a little bit, and we will watch this for a few minutes until we get to the city name.
The reason why it was so fast round our track.
I actually do like the way that this Focus looks. I mean, of course, this is an older one, but it is a pretty cool looking car. I like the front more than the back, for sure. I don't love the back.
I'll tell you this: you can turn into any corner at seemingly any speed, and the front just goes oof, oof. The radio and the ride, though, are nothing compared to what happens when you turn off a nice smooth A road like this and head for somewhere like.
Here we go. How do we pronounce this? I guess we'll find out.
And head for somewhere like on a bump.
All right, so you pronounce it you. Apparently, it's
Ystradfellte, Wales.
Ystradfellte. So Ystradfellte, Wales.
The radio and the ride, though, are nothing compared to what happens when you turn off a nice smooth A road like this and head for somewhere like
So he says he's on an A road, which we can maybe use, but for sure we can use.
The radio and the ride, though, are nothing compared to what happens when you turn off a nice smooth A road like this.
We can use this Ystradfellte. So let's go back to here, and I don't really know what to do besides just paste this in and just show me where it is. Okay, so here we go. Ystradfellte in Wales. Now, do we see an A road around here? But at the very least, we do know that this is where he tested this. So yeah, we'll just keep this here for now. This at least puts a pinpoint there. That is where that is. Get rid of that. Yeah, so this is a point.
What was wrong with it? I'll tell you what's wrong with it, is that the diff, okay? When you accelerate...
I need to preface what I'm going to do while I'm recording these is I'm going to keep track of how many car companies how many different car companies are featured in this show. And at some point I'll probably explain this more in depth, but I have specific rules and guidelines on when I consider a car company to be featured in an episode. And I can kind of go over that more often, or more later, I mean. But at some point, like in the future, maybe after I finish just the first season, or maybe after I finish everything, assuming I ever get to that point, which, I mean, that'll take years. It could take decades, honestly. But assuming I get to that point, I would like to just have a full list tally of the number of car companies, like, and how many times they were featured on Top Gear. You know, because I'm kind of curious if, like, was Mercedes... I assume it's going to be Mercedes, Porsche, or BMW that was featured the most, simply because they have... Well, I mean, Mercedes and BMW... It has to be Mercedes and BMW that are featured the most, simply because they have so many cars. I mean, they get featured at least once or twice every season, for sure. So I would imagine that at the very end of it, it's one of those two companies, but... regardless, I want to still make that tally and just see which car company gets featured the most.
Say to pull out to overtake someone, you're going around a corner, and you give it full throttle.
So he just kind of tests it, it just kind of road tests it. He doesn't really drive anywhere specific. So I don't think there's anything really more else we can do specifically for the Focus RS road test. So we will move on. Later, Clarkson test drives the Noble M12 GTO. Anyways, regardless, so Clarkson tests the this Noble M12 GTO, and then at the end we have Hammond test driving a Ford RS 1800, which is a more vintage car. Okay, so Hammond is going to test a Ford RS 1800. And again, in my notes, what I put unknown location. I'm not able to decipher any location watching this, but you be the judge.
Get on with. Let me explain. The Ford RS 1800. It was only made for 2 years.
This was really just a Ford episode, really. I mean, they talk about Ford. Well, I guess there's only two road tests, or two. There's a Noble test and then the Focus RS test. But a lot of this episode was pretty heavily Ford.
And I howled with desire every time I saw one. God, I wanted one. And no, I didn't just want one. I really, really needed one. 100cc double overhead cam, 16-valve, alloy blocked Cosworth engine. And in
So we are at a racetrack, and I'm hoping someone on the internet will be able to tell me where this is, because I do not know where it is. In doing my research, I tried to find, like, you've got the red and white fences, the guardrails, I mean. You can kind of make out some of the track layout, but I was not able to find this. I searched, like, a lot of different racetracks around. Like, you can even see buildings in the back. Surely somebody knows where this racetrack is. So it's just going to be a matter of finding out what it is, and then I'll update the map later on, just because I just don't have it right now. This has got to be a lot easier to find than some of the other things. Such as the Mazda that he drove, that Hammond drove in episode 1.
Being a bit light in your loafers.
The guy who owned it was there. And he's really big and scary, so I drove like Sister Wendy. I'm sorry. Anyway, action, serious action now. Buses jumping over motorbikes.
So that, I mean, that pretty much does it for the for that final Ford test, which again, it sounds like he wasn't really able to thrash it around like how he probably would have wanted. But I mean, yeah, after that he kind of goes back to the bus.
Why are you laughing? It's your license plate.
And that's pretty much the end of the episode. So not too much going on in this episode as far as the Google Earth map or our Top Gear map goes. We were able to add again this little town in Wales, which of course I've already forgotten how to pronounce. And yeah, that's pretty much it for episode 2. Thank you for watching. Take care. Good night.
Destroy something beautiful.